Dear students, I welcome you on behalf of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College for the remote teaching learning process, where our motto is let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure.
Let us move towards part 1 of chapter number 9, that is Depository System, wherein today we are going to understand the modes of holding securities as well as what is depository system and its importance. Before moving towards depository system, let us understand as to what are securities. A security is a certificate or any financial instrument that has monetary value and which is traded on stock exchange. Thus, the term securities is a broader term as it includes shares, debentures, bonds, mutual funds, etc. Now, these securities can be held in physical mode, that is paper form, or it could be held even in electronic mode, that is computerized form or dematerialized form. Let us now understand more about these two concepts. Let us begin with the first question, that is explain disadvantages of physical mode of holding securities. Physical mode of holding securities means where the securities are held in the form of paper certificates. Thus, when the securities like shares, debentures and bonds are held in the form of share certificate, debenture certificate and bond certificate respectively, it is called as physical mode of holding securities. Hence, it can be concluded that when the company issues share certificate, debenture certificate, bond certificate, etc. in paper form, it is known as physical mode of holding securities. Now, when the securities are held in physical form, it has certain disadvantages which can be discussed as follows. Firstly, it involves risk as the certificate, when held in form of paper, may be lost, it could get damaged or easily get torn or could be stolen or even misplaced during transit, that is while carrying it from one place to another place. The second disadvantage is related to efforts to be taken in duplicating of securities in paper form. Sometimes the security holder, that is shareholder or debenture holder or bond holder, may request the company to issue duplicate certificate if he or she has lost it or damaged it. But to obtain such duplicate certificate involves time and efforts on the part of company and the investor, and also it involves money on the part of investor. That is why it takes a lot of pains to obtain duplicate certificate in physical form. The next is delay in allotment of securities. When the company allots new securities in paper form or physical form, it takes a longer time. On the other hand, if the securities are issued in electronic form, it takes comparatively lesser time to allot such new securities. The next disadvantage in physical mode of handling securities is delay in transfer and transmission of securities. As discussed earlier, transfer of shares means when a member voluntarily transfers shares to another person either for monetary reasons or as a gift. On the other hand, transmission of shares means when transfer of shares takes place due to death, insolvency or insanity of a member by operation of law. Now, when this transfer and transmission of security takes place through physical mode, then obviously it will require more time as it involves actual handling of physical certificates. The fifth one is related to risk of bad delivery. When shares are held in physical form, it also faces the problem of bad delivery. It basically involves printing of fake, that is, forged share certificates, or offering torn or patched or altered pieces of paper in exchange of money. Now, while delivering such certificates which are torn, forged, etc., then it would definitely create problem in buying and selling of securities. Thus, it can be said that physical mode of handling securities involves many problems, or it has many disadvantages, like there is efforts involved in duplicating of certificates, there is delay in allotment of securities, there is also delay in transfer and transmission of securities, and lastly there is also the problem of risk of bad delivery. So in order to overcome such disadvantages, the electronic, that is computerized or dematerialized mode of holding securities came into existence, wherein the securities are held in a completely computerized mode. Now, let us move towards the second question, that is explain the concept of depository system. Depository system is that system wherein it overcomes the disadvantages, the demerits that we saw in the physical mode of holding securities. Now, dear students, this question, if asked, it could be asked as a 2 marks question, as you can just refer to your page number 141, wherein you will find question number 2 has been asked as explain the following concepts. In that, you will find the first one as depository system. Accordingly, depository system could be asked as a concept to explain the concept for 2 marks. So let us understand what are you supposed to write for this answer. Depository system is that system wherein the securities are held in electronic form, or you can say computerized form, or it is even called as dematerialized form. Now, this system is also called as scriptless trading system, because in this system the actual share certificates are not traded, but the shares are traded in electronic form. Thus, the depository system ensures safety of certificates from theft, fake certificates, etc. Not only that, it also has greater speed in exchange and delivery of security certificates. Secondly, the depository system maintains the accounts of the shareholders, enables transfer of securities, collects dividend, bonus shares, etc. on behalf of the shareholder. Thus, this is a system wherein all the transactions related to shares or securities are handled by the depository system in an electronic form. Further, in India, the depository system was introduced by passing the Depository Act 1996. The depository system of holding securities exists in all developed countries. With the introduction of new economic reforms in the year 1991, and with the introduction of liberalization, privatization and globalization, the size of the Indian capital market has been expanding, and as such foreign investors were expected to play an important role in the Indian capital market. They started placing their large funds in Indian industries. Thus, to comply with international practices, the Indian government adopted the depository system, and the Depository Act 1996 was passed. Under this Act, a competitive multi-depository system consisting of two depositories, that is NSDL, which is the full form is National Security Depository Limited, and CDSL, that is Central Depository Services Limited, was set up in order to handle the securities in electronic form. This clearly indicates that all the companies which are incorporated in India need to register themselves either with NSDL or CDSL to handle the securities in electronic form. Next, the depository system of holding securities is very much similar to the banking system in many aspects. Let us understand how. Firstly, if you just see, everybody knows that the banking system keeps the money safe. Your money is safe with the banking system. In a similar way, the depository system is that system where the securities are held safely. That is, shares, debentures, bonds, mutual funds, etc. These securities are completely safe under the depository system. The second similarity is, in case of banking system, account holder have unique numbers which are called as account numbers, and in depository system the security holders have their accounts and there they have their unique numbers, but they are called as unique ID numbers. The third similarity is, in case of banking system, we very well know that there is no requirement of physical handling of money. That means funds can be received directly in the accounts, funds can be transferred to another person. You do not actually handle cash. In a similar way, when we speak about depository system, here also you will find there is no physical handling of securities. Let it be during allotment, let it be during transfer of shares or transmission of shares. So without actually physical handling, all the transactions are dealt with in depository system. Now, in banking system, the transfer of funds is done between the account holders. Funds can be transferred from the account of one person to the another person's account. In a similar way, even in depository system, the transfer of securities is done between the account holders. Now, dear students, this question could be asked, the similarity or the resemblance between the banking system and depository system could also be asked as a justified question. You can see the question over here. It's given as depository system is very similar to the banking system and justify the following statement. Dear students, this question you will find in your exercise and from there I have taken up this question. So accordingly, if they ask you justify for 4 marks, you are supposed to explain these 4 reasons which indicate the similarity between the depository system and the banking system. Let us now move towards the third question, wherein we are going to understand the importance of depository system. The depository system of holding securities in electronic form has a very important role to play in the successful functioning of capital market. In today's time where we find technological advancement, even the securities are held in electronic form, and so we need to understand why this depository system is important. So let us understand the same. Firstly, the main aim of depository system is to eliminate or to reduce or to minimize the huge volume of paperwork which is involved in paper or physical or script-based system. Thus, depository system has contributed in a great extent in reducing the paperwork. Secondly, it is also important as it provides scope for paperless trading, that is, trading of securities without actually handling paper in physical form. This is done by using state-of-art technology, that is, making use of electronic mode or computerized mode. Next, it is also important as under depository system, there is no need to store and handle securities in paper form as all details relating to securities bought and sold are available electronically, that is in computerized form. The next and the last important is When the securities are held in physical form, it involves huge cost and efforts in its storage and handling. However, under depository system, the cost and efforts involved in storage and handling of physical certificates are reduced. Thus, this was the importance of depository system explained in 4 points. So with this, today we covered important concepts, that is we understood the disadvantages of physical handling of securities or physical mode of holding securities. Then we understood as to what is a depository system. We also saw the similarities between depository system and banking system. And lastly, we understood the importance of depository system. Thank you dear students for your patience listening.